Good evening, folks, and welcome to episode 60 of the Monday Weekend Wrap-Up. What a fantastic weekend of football action, plus a Friday this week, which is really nice. Joining us, as always, we have Milo the First. Milo, welcome in. How you doing?
Good evening. Very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing okay. How was your day today? Did you have a good day?
It was all right for a Monday.
Let's start off with this. You had a race yesterday,
Yeah,
and you finished top of your class,
I did. Yeah.
P6 overall. I tuned in. I think I tuned in with you had 5 minutes left on the clock, so I
Okay.
tuned in right at the right time, and yeah, it was just pretty cool to watch the whole thing go down.
It was. It was a cracking. It was a cracking race. Yeah. Yeah. Probably my best one in sim racing, to be honest.
Yes.
We used to have 4 classes, and I won silver and got promoted to gold. Now we have 3. So what I'm in now would have been gold, and we have pro above us. So if I win silver this year, then I would probably get promoted to pro. But we'll see. I mean, the car and the track, everything just felt good this weekend. So
Nice, nice.
it's very, very exciting and nerve-wracking race. It's very nerve-wracking when you're in the middle of it.
Yeah, dude, you got me pumped. I got pumped up watching that. It was like, let's go. It was like that type of. It was good.
What track was it?
It was Misano.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's a fun track. I like
it
that
is.
track.
It is a fun track. Yeah, it's tricky. ACC put an update out midweek, so it's got new physics,
Nice.
new tire model, couple of new cars. So far, so good. Yeah, that was the first race of the season as well. So, yeah, good thing.
Nice,
good.
nice. And also joining us after a week hiatus, we thought okay, Hoff, how you doing?
Good. Yeah.
Last
good.
week
How are you?
I'm doing okay. Doing pretty good actually. But last week, let's talk about last week real quick. You don't have to tell us
Okay.
exactly what happened, but there's a thing with the show where sometimes we have to cancel, etc. We got things to do. It's fine. But when it comes after, for example, cultured, I'll out cultured real quick. It's all. By the way, this hasn't happened with Milo. Okay, even I've had to do this, but with cultured, it was the show following England's semifinal knockout in the World Cup, and he tried to duck it, and I didn't. We didn't let him. We didn't let him. Now, last week, I can't even remember what happened last week, but it was another bit of a travesty for Spurs, if I remember right.
I mean, that's the season.
And we'll get
Latest in a
straight
long
into that.
line of travesties for Spurs.
Yeah.
And a couple of weeks ago, I canceled the show before the United game when we lost to somebody. I can't remember what happened. But anyways, you're here now, so
Yeah.
that disproves my theory because this is
This would have
probably
been the one to cancel.
this would have been the one to cancel.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's get straight into that. There was a lot of big games this week. Friday game, big game, semifinals in the FA Cup. But we got to wait because there's a more pressing issue at hand, and it involves Tottenham Hotspur. Stellini has been sacked by Tottenham this morning in a statement. Ryan Mason has been put in charge as caretaker manager. This is following a defeat to Newcastle, 6-1 defeat, 5-0 at 21 minutes. Let's just talk about that. What happened? And first off, how long is the drive from London to Newcastle? Maybe Milo, I don't know.
6 hours,
6 hours. Round trip or one way?
one way.
Oh my God. Okay. So you get there, maybe maybe you're a little late to your seats. You watch 10 minutes of the game, boom, 5-0. Just, to put it into perspective. That's got to be rough. But yeah, Hoff, let's talk about it. General thoughts about the match. I know you've kind of taken a hiatus from watching Spurs game because they've been so awful this year.
Yeah.
And you're just kind of, observing the catastrophe from the outside now.
Yeah. It's more fun to just watch Twitter meltdown when it's happening. I did watch the second half just because I honest to God, I wanted Newcastle to score 10 goals. just because I thought it would accelerate what happened today, but it happened anyway. So, yeah, I watched the extended highlights, which I mean had 7 goals in it, so that was fun. Um, Lloris came off at halftime, allegedly injured. I don't know if I'm buying that because he looked terrible in the first. It's not all his fault. I'm not putting it on him alone, but I mean, you would expect him to make some saves out of those goals. And Newcastle played like that ball on, I think it was Isaac's first. The outstep ball was beautiful. The defense just hung Lloris out to dry, and Lloris hung himself out to dry with some of his positioning. It was bad. Kane's goal is a microcosm of the season. Somehow that guy has scored like 23, 24 goals this year. Somehow in this team. I don't know how. Probably because Son has scored like 3, but that's neither here nor there.
It's pretty interesting, you know. Like it is kind of like almost Harry Kane's whole tenure at Spurs. Almost, you know, it's just like everything's going crazy, but then he's just, you know, chipping away, getting his goals. You know, it's pretty, you know, kind of. Do you think he'd? I don't know. Let's talk about Kane real quick. We always talk about him. Do you think he'll stay?
No.
No?
Oh, he'd be an idiot to stay.
Molly, do you think he's gonna stay?
I don't know, but I think you would be idiots to pay 100 million for him at his age.
I think he might stay.
I hope he does. I just don't. I can't see it, especially after yesterday.
Yeah.
I have a feeling he's gonna look for that Van Persie season, and I don't know if it will be United. Yeah, like Tim says in chat there, maybe he'll go to Chelsea.
I was just about to say that.
I can't see him going to another London club unless Bowley is prepared to just be an idiot in the market with his money again, which definitely is a possibility.
I think Levy would charge Chelsea double whatever he would charge anyone else.
Probably,
or,
yeah.
Not that they would pay it, but I mean, he might. Bailey might. Money is not an object to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Chelsea does feel like it makes sense to me. I don't know. I just can't. I just really hope United don't go for him, man. I just really hope
that squad needs goals. Chelsea's squad needs goals, and that's one source. They have Lukaku out on loan, but who knows what he would do under a new manager.
I feel like Kane, as you know, as he comes to the last phase, this will be his last big contract, you would think, right?
Yeah.
So as he comes to this phase of his career, you know, I hope that if he does move on, or whatever new manager comes in, I hope that they use him more in a low, you know, in a center forward role.
Yeah.
Stop dropping so deep. Stop trying to dictate the play. That's not what you need from an aging center forward who is extremely capable of putting the ball in the net. I would want him to focus purely on that. Be on the end of crosses, be in the box, you know.
Yeah.
Like right now, he's whether or not it's a Tottenham thing or it was a Conte thing for him to drop so deep, and he does it for England as well under Southgate, right? Like, and it drives me crazy. I don't want to see Harry Kane in our half when England play. I want to see him in the 6-yard box of the opposition. That's it. You know what I mean?
And hopefully, whoever the next manager is, I hope that they convince, I guess, whoever the next director of football is. There's so much stuff that's up in the air. But I hope that they can just get a creative midfielder. Like, that's what we've needed ever since Eriksen left. And when Eriksen and Kane played together, the deepest Kane went was the top of Eriksen's area. And that was it. And they complement each other very well as well. But Eriksen's just fantastic. But yeah, I think you could convince him to stay. Like, look, we're going to get this guy to play here, extend your career a little bit so you're not making 80-yard runs all of the time. Yeah.
Yeah, the other thing in that game was I can't remember if I heard this right. I didn't see it in any of the reports I read, but I thought I heard the commentator say that there was in warm up there was an injury, which forced them into playing a five or back four instead of a back five. Is that? Did you hear anything about that? Okay.
It would have had to have been long.
Maybe I misheard. I remember hearing there was
who played in defense.
It was Perisic and Pedro Porro at wingback.
Yeah,
fullbacks.
They were on the end. Romero and Dyer were in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I don't know. You said earlier in the season half that you quite liked Dyer at centre back, but I never saw him as a centre back. I always thought of him as a DMF, you know?
Yeah, I mean, after seeing what he has done, especially as the middle guy in a 3, I'm less and less convinced by him because I think he's a great. I think his leadership qualities are good. He makes the dumbest mistakes, and it's not consistent because him and Lloris kind of like alternate when they have their bonehead moments. So yeah, I think at DMF, I don't think he'd be bad there because he played that when he first came a little bit under Poch. He played right back as well, but that was more of a emergency thing.
And he was younger too, right?
Yeah. I don't.
It's interesting because if this lineup's correct, you were like in a 4-3-3 with Skip as your centre midfielder, right? So Newcastle, the way they play, obviously Joelinton and Isak and Murphy, who got 2 of the goals, but they kind of drop in centrally behind Isak quite a lot. So I feel like they just overran your midfield.
Yeah, and it probably would have been even worse with the 2 that we normally do a 5-2-3 with it would have been Højbjerg and Skip. I think Sarr is getting unfairly singled out for yesterday as well, because I mean I don't feel that
there's always a scapegoat.
Yeah, right. And it's the young kid who.
It's usually Granit Xhaka.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can't blame him this weekend. Anyways, there we go.
I give Stellini some credit because he had. I hadn't heard that it was because of an injury they went with 4 at the back. So I gave him some credit having the. I guess I said bravery to do it, but also bravery and stupidity are very closely aligned. And playing Porro, who's never played in a back 4, and Perisic, who's doesn't play left back, he plays wing back. He plays like from the middle third up on the left side most of the time. It's not set up for success. Yeah, it was just not good.
It's a tough one. And then, so next match for you guys is United on Thursday, which will be interesting. And I believe you have Liverpool on Sunday Monday? Yeah, Sunday. But yeah, let's. Any thoughts about next manager? I hear Pochettino's going to Chelsea. Apparently, that's the big rumor today.
He's probably there.
Interesting. What do you think? Do you think Potter? You mentioned Gallardo in the past, I think, right?
Yeah, I don't. There's been like no smoke to his name in regards to Tottenham. I would personally like him, but I don't think we've been linked with him like since Conte was fired. I think I was looking at the betting lines before we started tonight, and Nagelsmann and company are like the top 2.
Company, yeah.
You still don't want Klinsmann off?
Oh, jeez. No. I'll just say no. And then Arne Slot and Jose Enrique are the other 2 that kind of round out that. That's the short list that I got from it.
Do you think they would have offered the position to Wenger?
Probably not.
That'd be great too.
But I would love Nagelsmann. I wanted him before he went to Bayern, before he went to Leipzig, even, because we always seem to have a managerial opening. I just like his tactics. I like his management. He, I don't. Maybe Tim knows. I don't know what the hell happened with him in Bayern, because Bayern looked like more of a dumpster fire now, and we'll get into that later.
Yeah, we'll get into that. But yeah, let's.
Yeah, I would personally like Nagelsmann. I would be okay with company, but he'll be the next manager at City after Pep leaves, so he won't be there very long.
Yeah, I think I was thinking about company. He just won a championship manager of the year. You know, they've been promoted. I think last week we mentioned that. For company, there's talk of him going to Chelsea, and I think, you know, for him, I think he could protect his legacy or whatever if he stays at Burnley more. You know, he's had this accomplishment of getting bringing them up. If he doesn't succeed in the Premier League, it's not going to be a huge deal, I don't think. I don't know.
Depending on what resources he's given, I suppose, in the summer, but
right,
it won't be ginormous. We know that, right?
Yeah. So why take the risk of going to Chelsea, where he's a young manager as well, right? I think he was player manager at Anderlecht, and now he's at Burnley. Yeah. I don't know how many seasons he's been at Burnley. I think just one, right? Last summer he was, or maybe a summer and a bit.
This is his first season, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like he should stay there. I think he should stay there. Stay away from Chelsea.
I think he should use Lampard as a blueprint. Like, don't do what he did, because he almost got Derby promoted, and then he jumped to Chelsea. I mean, it would be hard to turn down that offer as a Chelsea legend. I get that. But
what kind of football are they playing? Because they've scored 81 goals, 34 against. They have a goal difference of plus 47, which is miles above their close. The next closest is Sheffield United and Middlesbrough with 29, plus 29. Like, obviously the football they're playing is decent.
Yeah.
To be honest, I haven't seen many Burnley games.
Well, no, I mean, I haven't seen any.
Yeah. I bet they're playing some good stuff though.
Yeah.
To be where they are. They played in the cup? They played City. Yeah, they played City in the cup.
They did. They lost 6-0 though, didn't they?
Yeah, they got spanked.
Yeah. They're also
a Haaland hat-trick. I mean, unleashing Haaland against them was a little bit of a dick move by Pep.
Yeah.
For a mini Burnley bit, they're under investigation for match fixing for this game this past weekend.
That's right. Or squad selection, right? Something about their squad selection?
Because they rotated their squad too much.
Yeah, the classic.
Whatever that means.
Yeah,
for them, I mean, their season's over. They're promoted. Automatic.
Yeah, but they could still clinch the championship, but they didn't do it last weekend, so they will. It's just a matter of time.
Man, Luton got a mega result today.
Yeah, I saw that, like, over Middlesbrough.
I mean, they're likely going to be in the playoffs anyway. Because they have a playoff anyway, right? For the
46 game season, I believe, right? 46.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
But yeah, so that's happening. But yeah, speaking of Thursday's match against United, we'll talk a little FA Cup. United through the FA Cup on penalties against Brighton. I don't know if you guys saw any of the game. I watched the game.
Bits of it.
I thought it was a really good game.
I saw the penalties.
it was 0-0, obviously, but it was like such a it was just a interesting, like, Brighton plays such an interesting brand of football, first off, right? I don't think many teams play 4 at the back like they do, with their 2 holding midfielders in the Premier League, at least that I've seen. And the way they, keep the ball between that back 4 with the 2 midfielders, and they kind of just play their wingers high. And the way United was man marking, right? Luke Shaw and Lindelof in the heart of defense. By the way, I thought they played fantastic. Victor Lindelof was, I think he won man of the match. He must have, or I'm not sure. Or maybe it was
penalty
Casey though.
was incredible.
Penalties were amazing, right? Penalties were amazing, but the way we played was very. I know after our Sevilla catastrophe, that was probably the best I could ask for. We didn't. Obviously, you know, we still can't keep possession. We can't control games or whatever, but we can defend. You know, we can defend. And the way we played Brighton was just basically a man-to-man marking. And you know, that's just a perfect example. Like if we tried to do man-to-man marking with Harry Maguire, we would have been destroyed. I mean, they would have found space. Let's just put it that way. They would have found a lot of space around him. But it was really interesting. It was just like it was like just the way we marked. It was just a really interesting chess match type of game to watch, I thought. But yeah, I don't know how much you guys saw of the game, but yeah,
it certainly looked like a decent game. I mean, some match reports that I read through, I didn't watch the game, just highlights. But some of the match reports that I read through suggested that Brighton maybe could have felt a little bit hard done by. But
oh yeah, Brighton were playing way that's what they were playing in possession way better than United. You know, way better. But we were just defending so well. You know, it's just one of those things. Like they didn't have that. You know, whatever you want to call it, 100 million pound quality on their front line type of thing. You know, the big talk was Mitoma, right? Mitoma versus Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka shut him down. He didn't get past him once.
I would, Goodfella, to your comment, I'd like him at Arsenal, but with Martinelli there, it is a no. I just don't think it'd be worth it. Trossard and Martinelli there.
Yeah, I mean, Mitoma does cut in though, right? So it would be he would add that. Yeah, there was an incident where Mitoma went in for the ball and kind of slid tackle. Is that the past tense of slide tackle? Slid tackled.
Carried out a sliding tackle.
Slide tackled. There we go.
Yeah.
De Gea, and he should have seen a yellow. That would have been a big moment in the game. We could have pushed forward. But I don't know. It was a very tactical game. You know, the way Brighton plays is really good. It's really nice. The way they build up through their back four. You know, that McAllister, Caicedo, Dunk, and what's his name? Webster, is it? Oh, I forgot his name.
Yeah, Webster, yeah.
But yeah, the way they build up and then just the way they just kind of keep possession and the way United were defending, it was just a really fun game to watch because right when Brighton would break the lines, it would become like this 1v1 battle between United's back four and Brighton's front 4 or 5. Sometimes we were, what's it called? We were outnumbered, and it was fun to watch the 1v1 defending because you don't see that very often. Everything is so like kind of structured, zones, all this stuff. But it was cool to see Luke Shaw, you know, running after the striker all into deep midfield, and you know, seeing Victor Lindelof and you know, on Wan-Bissaka deal with Mitoma and stuff. It was really cool because it was pretty open, but it was still 0-0, you know. So it was just very very cagey game, but very happy with the penalties. But yeah, now we got City. But
I was going to say, I have to ask you, prediction from you right now. Spotlight is on. City versus United FA Cup final.
Yeah, I mean, our best bet would be the same exact type of result: 0-0 to penalties. That's best case scenario. I think we're plus 500 underdogs. Like we're in this game, we were slight underdogs, just slight underdogs against Brighton, and it proved to be basically we were. I mean, they played much better than us.
Yeah.
But against City, they're minus 250. We're plus 500. It's it's going to be a tough job. Very. Tough job.
You never know. They're in a title fight. They are in the Champions League. Like you're similar to what people talk about with us. Like you have to hope that they are a little jaded by the time you face them.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
That could be the case, but I do think that their depth is one of the main reasons they're on this great run right now, because deep in the season when players are carrying knocks and things, they have quality personnel to step in and they're all trained the Pep way, right? So
Yeah.
it almost doesn't look like they miss a step. So I think I fear relying on that is probably not the way forward. But you can
No, I
hope.
mean, I'm confident that we'll put in a good performance, and we could get a result. But I think the odds. I mean, it's if you look at the chances Brighton created, the spaces that they got to, and you throw in a Mahrez, you throw in a Grealish, you throw in a Haaland in those same spaces, you get the feeling that we could concede, right? We could concede pretty easily.
Lindelof versus Haaland is a much scarier prospect than what he faced against
Welbeck.
Brighton, right?
Welbeck.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Welbeck's played pretty good though.
And I've been trying to sell you Welbeck on Football Manager for about 3-4 months. So.
It's true. No, anything can happen. I mean, we beat him. We've beat him at home. Dodgy offside decision, but still we hung in the game. City weren't clinical with the multiple chances they had at Old Trafford. It's gonna be the game of our season now, right? And we will have that. We're out of Europe, so we'll have that little bit of extra rest, which we desperately need now with everybody hurting. Speaking of Thursday, Bruno Fernandes could be out. He did get injured. He rolled his ankle pretty hard against Brighton, but he finished the game. Since he signed, he's only missed 11 games since 2020, which is pretty remarkable and he works his socks off and he plays pretty much 90 minutes.
Granit Xhaka like stats. That.
Yeah. Absolutely. We'll get to Arsenal. ADB Bottle says, also can we talk about how Wan-Bissaka is getting overhyped now over a few good performances, and people are quickly forgetting why he got taken out of the starting 11 in the first place. So Wan-Bissaka, when we signed him, he was lights out. He was playing like this, and then this is my theory. I believe the human aspect. I'm not like Pep, where everyone's a robot. He got into some trouble with the law, I think, right? He had a driving incident. Then he was suspended, I think, by the club or something. And then he was out of the team for like a couple months, right? Now he's come back slowly. I think his level of technique has improved greatly under Ten Hag. Like Ten Hag's really asking him to play on the ball. Before he was just defending, throwing a ball up the line to whoever was over there, and that was about it. But now he's really playing on the ball. I think he began his career as a winger or maybe a striker. I can't remember. But yeah, I completely agree with Zen. He's getting better. He's learning. He's adapting to Ten Hag's playing style, even though he's like gangly and it's tough to tell. But I think he's doing a lot of good. I don't think he's overhyped though. I think there was just one incident I remember against Roberto Firmino where he got done by him 1v1. But other than that, I think he's been pretty good.
You're just hoping that he doesn't have his photo taken with Lewis Hamilton anytime soon.
Oh, well, I don't know if you guys saw the link I sent you today. On the topic of United, Rio Ferdinand does a podcast with Stephen Housen. And they interviewed Nemanja Vidic. Any United fans, I suggest you guys watch that. 8:39. That's the timestamp. Okay, he talks about why he didn't have what. This is when Vidic was playing in 2007. Around Twitter came out or something. I don't remember exactly when Twitter came out. But Rio Ferdinand was all about it, right, on Twitter and everything. And Nemanja was like, "No, I'm not doing it," because he said, my entire focus is on football. I'm at the biggest, at the time, the best club, in the world. I mean, I'm saying at the time to be kind to everybody here, but one of the biggest clubs in the world, and his whole focus is going to be on football. It's not going to be on Twitter. All that stuff can come later, which it can now. And that made me think, like, someone like Ronaldo, if he didn't do any social media for his entire career, and all of his stuff was on the field, interview here and there, in the summer, fine, okay, around big tournaments, after, obviously interviews before and after games, and now he retires, right? He goes to Saudi and he says, "Guys, I am coming on Instagram. I have a Twitter account now. Do you think? Obviously, his following number would be lower, probably just because of time, the way time works. But do you think it would have that much of an impact to him in the long term?
In what respect?
Like his reputation, his marketing value. He's doing ad deals. Every other post on his Instagram is probably an ad deal, brands, all that stuff throughout his career. He's just raking in money there, which is fine.
He I don't think he's probably not running any of his social media accounts anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's what I'm saying. Rashford. Okay, now we're talking about Rashford. Now Rashford is probably involved in posting a picture about Lewis Hamilton. I'm gonna take a leap of faith. I'm gonna say that his social media team did not say, Rashford, we want you to post this picture.
No, that was. But Rashford's not as big a worldwide personality, so he probably runs his media account a lot more, right?
Fair enough. Whatever the reason is, it is what it is. But to me, it showed he's not focused on football. And that's exactly what Nemanja Vidic was saying in that interview. You guys go check it out. I mean, maybe not non-United fans, but it was cool to see Rio and Vidic talk about.
I think Rio's a dick, so I've got no interest in
What?
Yeah, I don't like Rio. I think he's a knob.
Well, you'll see the yin and the yang. Nemanja, you'll see why Nemanja is perfect complement to Rio. Anyways, you can't stand Hausen. Oh, okay. Anyways, he was on the show. Okay, that's enough United talk. Is there anything else we need to talk about? We got Tottenham on Thursday. We're out of Europe. Abysmal display by De Gea. I talked a lot about it on my stream last night. We went on and on about it and got a little heated, but whatever. And then we got sidetracked, and I was accused of bashing the La Liga again, but that's not what happened. Okay, that's not what happened.
Who do you want to replace him? Is Henderson the guy or someone else?
See, that's the thing. For example, James Garner, right? He was looked at as a prospect, right, for United. He went out on loan, did the classic loan dealings as you do as a youth player up and coming. Yep. Promising player. He played for the under-21s for England as well. I believe he may have captained them as well. I can't remember. And without getting an appearance for United, he was sold to Everton. Right? Dean Henderson is doing the same thing. I think Dean Henderson's a little further along in his development, right? I think as goalkeepers, they really want them to develop a lot more, right? You don't want them to be raw at all, almost. You want to be at United.
I just don't remember developing goalkeepers. Like, I don't ever remember in the history of football developing goalkeepers, the way to do it being sending them to a team that's just getting hammered every week. Do you know what I mean?
If you think about it, they get a lot of shots. They get a lot of shots.
Yes, but it just, I don't know, man. Like, I think you got to aim, if you're going to loan a keeper out like that, I think you got to aim for at least mid-table. Like, you're going to have some semblance of a good defense in front of them,
Yeah.
Yeah, but okay, but my point with that is basically you never know what Ten Hag, and the reason I'm saying this is because I think Ten Hag has a clear philosophy on the style of players he wants, and James Garner, in my opinion, did not fit the bill. He didn't fit that style, and he sold him. There's arguments saying that we needed a little cash flow as well, which could have been the reason why we sold him, is for so cheap. That's another conversation, and I understand that. But with Henderson, if he's, I feel you give him a chance next season, and you keep De Gea around as well, right? That safety net for Dean Henderson. And obviously, there's a lot of names, right? The Raya, Sanchez, Brighton Sanchez, Diogo Costa, and in Portugal. There's a lot of names. Magnon's been thrown around as well. I think you give Dean Henderson... I don't know if Dean Henderson is a ball-playing goalkeeper. So what I might think is we might deal Dean Henderson for some cash. We could. And without ever giving him a clear chance. Some of the comments he made last summer weren't too kind to the club anyways. And if we're following Ten Hag's philosophy, you know, which we should, we shouldn't settle for a new signing. We shouldn't. We have Dean Henderson on the books, so if we cannot get the person we want, we keep Dean Henderson, and I think you have De Gea, Dean Henderson together, and you see who can do what Ten Hag wants better.
Also, you're going to have to do it the way most teams do it now, which is your backup keeper waits for that opportunity. So Henderson might start the season on the bench. 4 games in, De Gea has one of his De Gea moments, and then Henderson gets the start, and then it's up to him to keep it. You know what I mean? That happens with a lot of teams when they make that goalkeeping transition.
Right.
That's what I mean. Kepa and Mendy have been like that the past couple seasons. It's been. That's what I was trying to think of, a situation similar to that, and I just kept thinking of Kepa.
Yeah. So I mean,
we did it with Leno and Ramsdale.
Oh yeah.
Right. Yeah, so I think it'll be interesting to see how that develops, because obviously De Gea's getting tons of hate after the Sevilla. You know, he ran out for the ball, and then he played a questionable ball to Maguire, who could have dealt with it better, right? I mean, so it's a knockout game, so everything goes crazy. And I think in that FA Cup final, or a semi-final, because it was a knockout competition and because the stakes were so high, Ten Hag instructed him to just play long ball. You know, that was basically it. Which is fine. You know, I don't know. Maybe the chemistry with Shaw and Lindelof wasn't there to play on the ground. You never know. And to be honest, we don't really have a midfielder who can come in between the center backs and pick the ball up like a, you know, Jorginho, Enzo. Take your pick, whoever. So I wouldn't. I'm not blaming De Gea so much. You know, having that consistent number one, who's been there for years, tons of experience, right? I would much prefer him over Dean Henderson in this FA Cup semifinal, you know, just because of how much is riding on it and these types of bigger matches. But that's me. I don't think we could get that much money for De Gea anyways if we you know, kept him around. But, yeah. But yeah, let's move along. It's a big topic. I've starred some comments, guys, by the way. We'll get to the start. Well, you know, some of the comments have been really good. We will get to them at the end of the stream, end of the show. Yeah, okay. Let's move on to the other FA Cup final or semi-final, which was Manchester City, Sheffield. Pretty ordinary game, to be honest. We don't need to talk too much about it.
It was only ever going to go one way, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Riyad Mahrez with a hat trick. Good for him. I thought it's always tough. You know, the first goal was a penalty. Tough. You know, Sheffield was hanging in there for most of the game. I thought Sheffield did pretty well, and then boom, penalty. But it did feel inevitable at some point. I was really hoping Sheffield could pull a result. You know, because the treble for City is looking mighty realistic in my opinion. And yeah, let's just talk about that. Let's just lead into treble chances. Will it happen? Hoff, what do you think?
Yes. I picked them to lose in the final to Napoli, so that's not going to happen. So yeah, sure, why not?
Okay. What do you think, Milo? Do you think they'll do the treble?
I don't think they'll do the treble, but I'm not prepared to say which I don't think they will win.
Okay. So, I mean, let's just break it down. Okay, we got Manchester United in the FA Cup final. I think, and this would be the greatest, that if everyone just focuses on this semi-final with Real Madrid being the final, and then they just get smacked in the final, that would be great. You know. But anyways, this Real Madrid two-legged semi-final is gonna feel like a final. You know, it really is. It's gonna be a awesome matches. And then you could argue
final on Wednesday.
Exactly, and then you could argue that the Premier League final is on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In all three of those games, I do feel the most likely for them to lose is Madrid. I don't know. I bet even the odds makers have it that way. But will they? In my opinion, they can't lose another one. That's my thought. Just by law of odds, averages, the way they're playing now with Haaland especially, right? They have that sharp attacking finisher. I'm not counting out Madrid. I'm not counting them out.
Yeah. I don't want to get into it because there's too much at stake for me right now. So yeah, it is what it is. You know what? Good for them. They're in all the finals. Who fucking right?
I don't know. Look, Madrid are very, very good, and Madrid, you when you watch them, I watched a bit of them against who they play. I forgot who they played this weekend. Who did they play? Elche? I don't know. But yeah, Camavinga, the way Camavinga was playing this weekend was amazing. It is the way they play is so good, and I hope they can beat City, but I just feel like it's City's years.
Champions League nights, Real Madrid, don't they? You know,
They do. No, absolutely.
Show up on those nights, so
absolutely. So I don't know.
We'll see.
You don't win your first Champions League with this. It's Celta Vigo. That's right. Aspas was playing. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. Madrid lost to Villarreal 2 weeks ago. That's true, but I just don't. Yeah, like Milo said, I think they just step it up. But okay, here we go. Stop still jinxing City. Let's keep it jinx free. Okay. Let's move on to this Wednesday, or 2 days, 48 hours, less than 48 hours. The game will be over.
Do you want to talk about the Southampton game?
Yeah, let's get to Arsenal. City play Arsenal, who drew on Friday 3-3 with Southampton. What a game! What a game!
For the neutrals.
Great game for the neutral. And just want to reiterate, Friday Night Football is amazing. Yep. It is really good. They need to keep that. I don't know what happened in the TV schedule to allow that game to happen. Maybe Arsenal wanted an extra day of rest.
Trivia question for you. What was the first ever Premier League Friday night fixture? Who were the teams?
Oh, no idea. I'll say Newcastle United.
One of those is correct. Is Newcastle versus somebody else.
Oh, wow.
Sunderland?
Nope.
I'll say Blackburn.
Nope.
Ooh, that's a good guess.
What would what game would they hype up for Newcastle? Newcastle, oh, you just said Sunderland. I don't know. Who is it?
It was against Arsenal. At Highbury on a Friday night. I was at the game. It was the game after the Keown jumping all over Van Nistelrooy. At Old Trafford, because the whole stadium was singing Keown songs for like 20 minutes, which had never happened before. So, yeah, I'll remember it for the rest of my life.
Okay.
But yeah, it was a good Friday night.
Yeah. Well, fast forward to last Friday. It was still pretty. It was a pretty good game. Arsenal, great comeback from Arsenal. What are your thoughts about that game, Milo?
I mean, look, it had all the hallmarks of the Bournemouth game at home. Team from the South Coast, not doing great. They're bottom of the table, so they're in a worse position than Bournemouth. For me, again, like Bournemouth had that freak early goal within 9 seconds or whatever it was. And then Southampton, again, Ramsdale with a mistake, speaking of dodgy keepers. I can't be mad at Ramsdale because he's made some outrageous saves this season. Like, outrageous.
Big.
I think we can all agree, if your keeper is able to produce some of the saves he's made, you're gonna let him let him off the odd howler. That was a howler from him. The response wasn't quick enough or decisive enough for me, and I think the biggest thing I'll take away from the last 3 games is how much we miss William Saliba. It's astronomical, in fact, and mainly because it's Holding that's being put in his place. There's been a lot of talk about Rob Holding this week. What kind of level player is he? He's not, a lot of people are saying he's not even good enough to be a sub in the Premier League. He's a championship level defender. I don't know about that. I think if you just give him one thing to do, I think he would do it for you. But I feel like the level of play is above him, what we're trying to do, and the system we're trying to play. I just don't think he's capable of that. And I think at this time in a title race, right, you got City that have we've talked about it for a few weeks. They've come into form at the right time, right? That run in, they seem to be just, mowing down everything in their path. We've hit this adversity with some injuries to defensive personnel, at the worst time for us, really. Like the Saliba injury is costing us more than I could possibly. I didn't think it would be as bad as it's been to lose Saliba, but I think Tomiyasu would have helped, and I said that to you guys last week. I think we're missing Tomiyasu a lot because that would give you the ability to play Tomiyasu at centre back, or you could switch and have Ben White at centre back and Tomiyasu slots in at right back. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of, there's a lot of ways of looking at it. But I think the biggest part of the 3 draws, I mean, thankfully we didn't lose any of them, right? We did get a point. That point could be huge. But at 1-0 down, because it was a free goal, I honestly, I was thinking, all right, we probably should win this game like 3-1. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then to have to fight back to 3-3. And when we got to 3-3, I actually felt like we were going to get a 4th, and we hit the bar. So, it was just one of those games where they took too long to get going. Granit Xhaka being out with an illness, I thought Fabio Vieira was the wrong choice from Arteta to play. I don't think he's been as influential as you would want him to be. And given what we're up against, I think you got to make a different decision to that for me. But I got to trust Mikel. Look what he's done, man. Like no matter what anyone says, I was talking about this on my stream a couple of days ago because a lot of people asked me after Friday, this, that, and the other, and I see people in the chat talking about bottling it and all this stuff. Rival fans are going to say whatever they want, right? Whatever they want. There's no point me even going down that road. Twitter is a nightmare for all sports, not just football. Like F1 Twitter, horrendous. Football Twitter, horrendous. Rival fans are going to say whatever they want to say, but with the exception of some few fans, every single one of them would kill to be in the position we're in, fighting for a Premier League title with 7 games to go. Every single one of those fans, like Chelsea fans in particular, should really be careful about what they say. Tottenham, obviously, you guys are struggling, but I get it. Rival fans enjoy it when a team. But this mirage of bottling it went because we've been on top. Well, for starters, we're going to start above Man City every season because alphabetically, A is before M, right? So I'm going to throw that out there for number 1. Number 2, the gap at 1.8 points. City still have to play City twice. So I never looked at it like that. I told you guys early in the season, I said until we play City that first game, which didn't happen till mid-February, I told you we can't even think about it.
Yeah.
And then they beat us at home 3-1. And I'm thinking, okay, we're going to have a blip. We had a mini blip. This blip is... But what's hilarious is we're talking about not losing a game.
Right.
Not losing a single game, but we're having a terrible spell. That shows you City are so good. They are so well equipped for this.
Yeah.
And, on Wednesday... Arsenal will need one of those historic performances a la Will Todd at Old Trafford, Michael Thomas at Anfield, Omri and whoever it was against Tottenham at White Hart Lane. We're going to need one of those performances.
Yeah.
We're going to need one of those games where something historical happens for us in that fixture. And I just don't know that we can do it given the personnel that we're going to have to play in defense.
Yeah, it's gonna be a big one. It's these draws are just coming out of nowhere. I guess the Saliba injury was big. Full disclosure.
We've conceded 9 goals in the 3 games Holding has been centre back. I mean that says it all, man. That's the only stat you need to look at, really.
Yeah.
And I think it was the first time the last place team in the Premier League scored 3 goals on the first place team in the Premier League. I think that was a little factoid. Anyways, full disclosure, because I'm very fascinated by Saliba, this whole thing, and I watched. Was it yesterday? I watched the first 20 minutes of the Sporting game, and I tried to see where the injury was on Saliba. I saw the Tomiyasu one. He kind of stretched, overextended his knee type of thing, so it's like a weird.
Oh wait,
weird,
are you about
position.
to spout a conspiracy theory?
No, there's no conspiracy. Well, yeah, I mean, I have a theory because I didn't see there was no like big contact, and I was just the whole time whenever if Saliba was in frame, I was just watching Saliba. Right, he's a big guy. I don't know how tall he is. Let me look it up real quick.
I don't know, like 6'4" or something, right?
Saliba
6'6"
height. 6'4". He's a big guy, right? A lot of compression on the back when you're that tall, right? Stands up very tall when he runs around. He's young as well, right? 22.
Yeah, like
right.
21.
Rashford, for example, the amount of torque he puts on his back, right? And I think it was around 2021. The amount of pressure and force he puts on his back caused him to develop like a injury in his back, which just kind of wore over time, right? It wasn't like one impact and it boom injured, and it took him a bit of time to recover. I'm not saying that's how long it's going to take for Saliba, but there was no impact or anything that happened when Saliba came off, right? One moment he just put his hand up and he said, "I got to come off," and he was grabbing his back. And I wonder if this is a case of too many minutes, maybe, on him. I don't know. Against Sporting, he was, the back line that Arsenal play, the center backs have to be very mobile, right? Coming up, pressing. He comes into midfield sometimes, challenges a long ball, and then drops back. But it does worry me that it's taken so long. I thought he came off as a precaution and he would be back following the international break. I thought it was like keep him out of the international break for France, save him, and then for the run-in. But it's turned out to be a lot bigger much bigger of an issue because
the word on the street is that it's a structural issue in his back. Right?
Yeah.
So it's precautionary from the club to protect his future. Even he wants to play. He's saying he could play Wednesday, right? He is. He wants to play. He's saying he wants to play Wednesday. He's telling the club he can play. But the club are protecting their investment, which is the smart thing to do. And he's a young player. We've had players that have been young, got hurt young, and they've never really been the same. So, and as far as the minutes thing, I don't know. Could it be that? Yes, but it could also be what I had as in my early 20s, which is like degenerative disc disease. So like I've had some back issues that come from stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like it's such your spine and your back and the discs and all that stuff, like and all the nerves and muscles around it. It's so complex. I look at my dad had an operation. Not related to anything I've had, hopefully, but he had an operation on his back that was so complex. There were only at the time there was only 15 surgeons on the planet that would do that operation.
Oh wow!
So he had to remortgage his house to pay for it.
Wow!
But it was necessary to keep him out of a wheelchair. So he did it. But it's so complex that I think erring on the side of caution with Saliba is the best thing the club could do, because he's a phenomenal player. And it's not just, I was saying this as well on the weekend, it's not just him, okay? Gabriel is on tenterhooks the whole game. Like, since Saliba came out the team, Gabriel is, you can tell he's so not confident in what they're doing anymore. And he looked so good the rest of the season as well.
I think against West Ham, he conceded the penalty, right? He kind of slid in on whoever it was, Tony or whatever.
Yeah. He did.
Anyways.
I mean, it's. I think Saliba is going to be done for the season. And honestly, I'm okay with that, man. Like, whatever happens Wednesday, I would rather have Saliba for the next minimum 3-4
Yeah.
6, however many years we can have him. I would rather have him for that than I would just have him for Wednesday on the off chance, because again, my belief in this team is that they're not just going to challenge this season. I think that they're a young, hungry team that are learning so much this year. They learned a ton last year. They just missed out on top 4 last year. They set a new target. This year we're going to get top 4. And instead they find themselves in the game of their life on Wednesday. These are the moments you live for as a player, right? I mean, this is it. You got a chance to go. And even if we beat City on Wednesday, it still don't mean we're going to win the league.
Right.
You know what I mean?
True.
Like it's.
Yeah, speaking of that, like you mentioned last year, you guys you kind of dropped off out of the top 4 at the end, and now
3
it's
defeats in a row. Yeah,
you've progressed, and now you're dropping out of the title. It's not a bad progression.
I'm happy with the progression the club's making. In this position we've been in, I've said to you guys many times, I would love it. I would absolutely love it, but I'm not going to be disappointed no matter what happens. I mean, I'll be a little disappointed, obviously, but not as disappointed as if we finished fucking 8. Do you know what I mean? Like,
how about a doomer take, real quick? Are you ready?
Okay.
They say it's good experience for the players, whatever. They'll learn from these draws or whatnot. But could it be bad experience?
Not with a manager that's also hungry and has set he's set his targets, what he wants to achieve, what he wants to do, the club's vision. They're backing it up financially. We're back in the Champions League no matter what happens. That is going to give us a cash injection. We're going to be able to get better players in recruiting because of that as well. I think it's the only way is up.
Okay.
From the last 3 years, from the last 3 years since the Wenger transition, we're looking for change, right? Because we're kind of stuck in the mud there, and we're seeing an upward trajectory. So all the time you're seeing an upward trajectory, for me, that's good. Unless you're Chelsea, who have to spend to get instant success, or City, unless you're in that boat financially, you have to. All you can hope for is an upward trajectory, right? That's all you can hope for.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Just throwing it out there.
Sorry, Greg, but it's true, man. I'm sorry, dude.
Yeah, by the way, Chelsea didn't play this weekend because United were in the FA Cup. That would have been this weekend, so that's been rescheduled. Other matches this weekend, Liverpool winning against Nottingham 3-2. Pretty tight game. But, sorry, anything else you want to add about anything you want to add about Arsenal? Just since we're it's just Wednesday, all eyes on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a big game. This is the fun time of the season, This is the best part of the season. And it's been a great season. I think it's been with the World Cup. I mean, from the viewers' point of view, it's just been nonstop football. FA Cup in June, right? The finals in June. It's great. It's good stuff for us. For the players, not so much. Not so much. Other results: West Ham winning 4-0 against Bournemouth. Did you guys see the goal? The quote unquote scorpion goal that was scored.
The fake scorpion.
It was like a how like you see an insect with like a leg hanging off, but they're still able to move. It was like that type of like a scorpion with missing a couple legs.
Oh, I see a screenshot of it right now. Okay, his hands were already on the grass when he did it.
He didn't connect very well with it, but it went in.
We're not talking Renato Higuita, Colombian, like full flight. That was just legendary.
No, we're not. But West Ham winning. Obviously, we talk about Tottenham, Brentford, Villa picking up a goal late on. Little dent to their top 4 hopes, but they're still there. Everton drawing with Crystal Palace. The relegation battle is going to be very interesting. That was a big game. Palace, Everton. Everton still in the drop zone just by on goal difference right now with Leicester, who won away at home to Wolves. Big match there. Wolves are on 34 points, 6 points off the drop zone. Leeds lost to Fulham. Fulham in pretty comfortable. They're past that 40-point mark. But yeah, Leeds lose 2-1. They're just 1 point off the drop zone. Yeah, they blamed a certain American not so long ago. Exactly. Come on, guys, come on. Oh, speaking of America, a little news. I think Bologan has it's pretty strong rumors that he's going to play for the United States of America.
Did he announce? Or I know he was.
Well, he might
he
as
was
well,
getting
'cause
the star treatment when he came to Miami.
Yeah, something like
he
that.
might as well, because he's not going to get in Southgate's England team.
Yeah,
that's true.
He's not.
No one plays but Kane.
Yep.
Yeah. Marsh was horrendous. Look. Just give him a British accent, and no one's saying anything. Okay, no one's saying anything.
The thing is, you can say Marsh is horrendous. Javi Gracia is more horrendous.
He's horrendouser.
He's
Horrendouser.
And I think all three of us have been fired by Watford, but he got fired from Watford like when they were dog shit.
Unbelievable comment here. Unbelievable. Yeah. Did you guys hear about the Howard Webb stuff? He's talking about. I can't remember if we talked about it last week, to be honest. But they're bringing in. They did a review of. Oh no, we did talk about this last week. They reviewed all. I just saw some interviews. There was some gala event yesterday after the FA Cup, and I just saw some clips of interviews. And Howard Webb was talking about that they're talking about releasing the audio that the refs have, like, between each other when making decisions, and I believe they'll be releasing that to the public soon. Like it'll be like mic'd up or whatever, but with the refs. And I think Howard Webb said that all the managers they've showed some managers what they're working on, and how the audio, and they're very impressed with it or whatever. So hopefully Howard Webb can turn the refereeing situation around in England. We'll see. Any other news in England you guys want to talk about? Empty seats for the semi-final between Sheffield and Man City. Not a surprise. That's just filler. That's just bashing filler right there.
I saw an article on that, like, what can we do about that and stuff. Like, for me, it's simple. Like, you make it affordable for the working man again. So
yeah,
give the tickets away in schools. Like, let the kids go. There's a million things they could do, but they won't.
Have the semifinals always been at Wembley or wherever the final is?
No. So They used to be a neutral venue.
Okay.
They've experimented over the years. Villa Park used to host it sometimes. Okay. Lots of grounds in the Midlands.
Okay.
Used to host it, depending on who's playing.
Because I feel like it kind of it doesn't cheapen the final, but I just think it's weird to have the semifinal at the same place. Like, have it at the Stadium of Light or Millennium Stadium or whatever. It's like somewhere that's reasonable for both clubs.
I don't think they even need to do that. I think they should keep it like the rest of the cup, which is whoever came out the hat first is the home team.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
I mean, I think they've tried that before too, and then the replay. They used to do a semi-final replay, right? No penalties. So what used to happen is, if it was at Old Trafford, for example, and it was 0-0, you'd then go back to Brighton for the second leg, and then if that went to 0-0, it would go to penalties. So,
how about penalties at a neutral location? No.
In the car park?
Yeah, it's like another day, 30-minute match. Like maybe on like a basketball court or something, Like, no. Okay,
it should be managers one-on-one.
Stretching.
Ooh.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Managers should take the penalties.
It's like a manager, assistant coach.
No, just the manager. He takes all 5.
Oh, jeez.
Against the other manager in goal.
Oh,
Frank Lampard is pushing hard for that one, I think.
I'm out on Palace then. Poor Roy.
let's talk a little bit. I'll talk a little Spain real quick. Some important matches. Barcelona won 1-0 against Atletico yesterday. They had a 15-year-old on the bench. Last name Lamine, or first name Lamine. Yamil Lamine or something. Yabil Lamine. 15-year-old. Apparently, that guy has just picked up Jorge Mendes. Sorry, Jorge Mendes as his agent. And I think what Xavi's trying to show him, it's like, look, you're not going to get a better he's sitting next to Gavi or Pedri on the bench, Gavi's on the field, and I think he's just showing the kid that he's going to be this is the best place for his development, before he thinks about moving somewhere else. Sin Cara, I was just about to mention, they've won 12 games 1-0. They've also conceded, I think 10-ish goals this season. That's the best defensive record they've ever had in the league. They've conceded less than 10 goals, 9 goals. But win over Atletico moves them closer to that La Liga title. Other big match, Sevilla won, who are quasi-battling relegation. They beat Villarreal. People are saying they're relegation battlers. To me, they're a top 6 team who are having structural, they're having it's like saying if Tottenham were battling relegation for a little bit, or like Chelsea, right? They're still a very, very talented squad who on their day can probably beat anybody, but things just haven't been going their way. But yeah, they're looking a lot more comfortable. Real Madrid beating Celta de Vigo, kind of mentioned that earlier. Camavinga playing in that left back role looks amazing, looks really good. Another side note about that Barcelona match. There was a chance that Lewandowski had one-on-one with the goalkeeper and puts it like maybe 5 meters wide. It was pretty bad. A lot of people coming for Lewandowski's throat. He just hasn't been. I don't know. You just get the feeling that there's more in the. You wonder how much is left in the tank. That's what I'll say. Obviously he's got quality, but you wonder how much is left in the tank at his age. He's slowing down a bit. Yeah. Let's see. If you look at the chances attackers miss against Barca, you see how lucky they've been. Yeah. Like I remember watching a Sociedad game against Barcelona a couple months ago or maybe weeks ago, and just they had so many chances to score, but the quality just wasn't there. Anyways, but yeah, Sevilla through to the semifinals. They face Juventus in the Europa League, which is pretty exciting stuff. Sevilla Kings of Europa League. And good stuff going on in Spain. The relegation battle is still there. Elche look like they're going down. They're quite far behind the pace, but between 19th and let's just go even all the way up to 11th. Sevilla, you got about 10 points there. So 10 points, 8 games. It's pretty tight. There's 4 points separate 19th and 15th. So it's going to be a tight run in there. But Champions looks like it's going to be Barcelona pretty comfortably. Let's see what other chats happening here. Barca. Also in the Barca match, the ref decided to ignore a blatant handball. Okay, I missed that one. Can't remember that. But you want to talk a little Serie A, Milo?
Yes, sir.
Let's do a little Serie A.
Just some headlines, nothing crazy. Big news, obviously. Juve getting their 15 points back. That's right. That's got to be the biggest news out of Serie A this week. It might only be a temporary measure, but I would say for this season at least, they're getting those 15 points back. That puts them instantly back third in the table, 3 points ahead of AC, 2 behind Lazio after this weekend's games, which is pretty mega and must have pissed off Jose Mourinho, which, I'm okay with. That does make me laugh just to think how angry he would have been, because Roma had climbed into such a good position. But, now the top 4, all of a sudden Juve are just reinserted there. So that's kind of interesting. Don't think I've ever seen anything like that happen before. You guys got any thoughts on that? Or before I continue?
So the I can't remember exactly the details. We talked about it when it happened. I think it was just last Tuesday or something, the day after the show.
Yeah.
And it's the executives have been convicted, but Juventus, yeah, they have there's another trial in 30 days. Interestingly, right, that'll be close to when the season's over. And the idea is that there's a witch hunt in Italy out for Juventus, like, and you wonder, like, in it from a PR perspective. I know nothing about PR, obviously. No, I'm just kidding. I know nothing about PR, but like, it seems like taking that decision to give a 15-point penalty, bang, like hard in the beginning, when the news comes out, right? Silences the haters or the people who are calling for their throat, And now when it bubbles up back in, it's like it's not as bad almost, like the fact that they took it out and now they're going to continue the court process, right? It's almost like, look, we realize it's bad. We'll go in hard. We'll make it look like it's, we're going to destroy their season. Just so that everyone is like, look, we understand this. They understand the severity, right? The people in charge understand the severity. But now, with this recent court hearing, like Nedved and Agnelli is still charged, I believe, something like that. But the points are back, right? They're going to reassess the point penalty. It might not be 15, right? It might not. It might be 9 or something. But I thought that was kind of interesting. I don't know the inner dealings, to be honest, but
no,
I don't know.
But like I say, back third in the table, so yeah, not too shabby, eh? When you've been
but like,
for a bit.
Who got knocked out?
Well, Roma amongst
Roma.
the
Roma
Mets.
to fifth.
Yeah. So Lazio lost 1-0 to Torino, which did help close that gap. Juve looking at potentially a Champions League position. So there you go. Napoli inch ever closer to the first title in 33 years. 1-0 win over Juve this weekend. Roma's misery. Also, they lost 3-1 to Atalanta. AC Milan went level with Roma on 56 points with a 2-0 win over Lecce. So that's all I got for Serie A this week.
Did you see that? I saw the video of Napoli fans. Or was it Raspadori scored against Juventus? Wasn't Raspadori at Juventus shortly or a couple of seasons ago? Maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking of someone else. But they were, they're on their mopeds following the bus at 3 a.m. I don't know if you saw that video. It's a cool
I did
video,
see that. Yeah,
they can seal it next week, right? I think.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool.
Pretty
exciting
cool.
times for Napoli.
Now, it's going to be a question of hanging on to their star players. That's Osimhen. Everyone's talking about Osimhen. Kvaratskhelia. I feel like he'll be maybe the subject of a couple of big bids.
Apparently, Kvara has signed a new deal, but who knows what that means? But we'll see. Let's talk a little Bundesliga though. A lot of action going on in Bundesliga. Exciting stuff.
Yeah. So there's a new leader at the top of the table, like the end of April, and that hasn't happened in a while.
2012 is the last time it happened.
Dortmund just smacked the hell out of Eintracht 4-0. Just dominated them everywhere. And Bayern laid an egg away to Mainz. Basically, they went up 1-0. Sadio Mane back in the team, making his triumphant return from his little suspension. And then Mainz scored 3 goals in 14 minutes in the second half between the 65th and 79th, and that was it. They held on. Bayern weren't ready for that at all. And the Tuchel era is not going that well so far. They played 6 games under him. 1 win, which they beat Dortmund. So that was his first match. It was a big win at the time, and you'd think, oh, that's the title sealed. And then they drew twice, once to City and once to Hoffenheim, and 3 losses. one of those being in the Pokal to Freiburg, one into City in the Champions League, and just recently, just this weekend to Mainz. It's not been a good start for Tuchel, because they brought him to like secure the treble, and two of them are already over, and the third one could slip away if they stay with this form. Not saying it will, but it'll at least be interesting, because I feel like the Bundesliga hasn't been interesting after March, outside of the relegation battle. Like for you said, 2012. Like for years, it hasn't been that interesting. And the last, I got a little Union spotlight. My darling team this year. They're holding on to a Champions League spot. They beat Gladbach 1-0 at Gladbach, and Schroeder Becker scored. He's just having a great season. Match of the week. I'm picking a match of the week this weekend, Saturday morning. I looked at the schedule. Your schedule is clear. There's no big Premier League matches. So 10 o'clock East. I'm at Eastern, so 7 o'clock for you West Coasters. Union is playing Leverkusen. Leverkusen they're hot right now. They're playing some good stuff. They're into the semis of the Europa League. Just moving up the table. Yeah, Xabi Alonso's doing a great job with them. And Union are trying to hold on to that Champions League spot. So I'll be watching that Saturday morning. I'm really looking forward to that match.
Yeah, it's going to be good stuff. Good stuff. What about this? Right? I think if Lewandowski's still at Bayern, I think their lead's a little more comfortable. What do you think? You think it's as simple as that?
They're getting a lot of goals from everywhere. Like you're seeing, Royce has popped up. Brandt's got more than a few. Haller's been doing pretty well.
No, I mean, sorry, not the lead. Like Bayern is more in control if Lewandowski stays.
I'm yeah.
So this is what I'm thinking. What do you think about this? Right, just thought of this. Whoever finishes first place in Bundesliga has to ship their best player for the competitiveness of the league. How about this? If you win 3 titles in a row, you got to sell your best player. Because now look at the league; it's super competitive. It's much more watchable, right, for the title race. Stuff like that. I don't know. This would be very like NFL drafty, or
I don't know why
American
you said
sports
Lewandowski,
drafty.
and I totally forgot he was at Bayern Munich. I just went to him being a Dortmund player for some reason. That's why I was talking about Dortmund.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Going back to 2012, I guess.
So, like, say this year, like after City, if City win, or if Arsenal were to win, since City's won it for the past 3 years, they have to sell one of their best players. De Bruyne has to leave.
How do
I think you can do that because
No, you can't do that.
But then you're literally stopping any records from being broken for an individual club. Then
Right, I know. I'm
like
just saying that.
appearances, goals, assists, like all those records will never be broken. So
Is the word facetious? Is that the word?
Yeah.
That's that was more of a facetious comment, just in the sense that now Bundesliga is exciting because you just literally chopped the head off of Bayern and then said, okay, go in the league, go play in the league now, like that type of thing.
I would rather see a salary cap than that.
Sure. Well, I mean, I don't know I wish I knew the financials better, or just could figure it out. But Bayern, do they? What? Okay, I have no idea. I can't even pose a question. How do they get all the best players? Like I don't know.
I guess people just know. I don't. I mean, their academy must be good, right?
I guess they're. Yeah.
Well, they also get
Dortmund
a lot
has
of players, the best players in the league, for not that much. Like they got Lewandowski on a free.
Right.
That's insane that they got him on a free. When and not that Dortmund's hurting for money or anything. They have, speaking of great academies, I feel like they have a great academy as well. But yeah, I'm like Guy had said, he said steal, but they definitely I would say poach the Bundesliga very well.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a good model for doing that.
Similar, yeah. Okay, yeah. Fair enough. Cool. Yeah. So the lots happening there. Good title race there. Anything around Europe? There's to mention. Let's just check here real quick. I think we can get prepared for the rapid fire quiz in just a second here, guys. We got a rapid fire quiz. It's going to be me and Hoff. We got to close our chats. Yeah, there was a good video. Speaking of that's what it was. No, I was talking about Howard Webb. I don't know if you saw this video from Ligue 1. A referee. They released his conversation with the players and the way they talk and like the way they talk about fouls and discussion and stuff like that. You should check it out. I'll try to find it and post it in chat. It was Benoit Millot. Benoit Millot. Millot. And it's all of his conversations in the Ligue 1. Also, Wrexham have been promoted back to the Football League after 15 years. You know, Hollywood ending to their season. I don't know if you guys saw the clips of that.
I did.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go for it. Yeah, I was just gonna rattle off.
I watched Lyon Marseille yesterday. That was a fun match. I try to watch Lyon matches as much as I can, but for some reason I always miss them on BN. But that was a really fun game. It was 1-1 going into second half stoppage, and Marseille were attacking. A ball played in, and the Lyon defender, tries to clear it, and he kicks it off of Malagusto, the now Chelsea loanee, and it went right past Anthony Lopes, and it was just it was crushing own goal, and it was essentially the last kick of the game to lose. It was a great match overall, and they had to end that way. It's kind of a bummer, but it was a fun match overall.
Yeah. Did you guys see Cristiano Ronaldo headlock a player and kind of WWE him down to the ground? Did you guys see that?
Yes.
That was pretty good. That was good stuff. And then he grabbed his genitals at some point when he was walking off field. Pretty good stuff. I think. Yeah. Good, great stuff. Let's see. Anything else? Didier Drogba came out last week saying, "I no longer recognize my club." I no longer recognize my club. Todd Bowley said some mistakes have been made, at the club. No shit. Let's see. Anything else? Oh yeah, there was one thing. There was a Martinelli foul on Bednarak. I don't know if you guys saw that. He kind of it's the classic. You bump into someone. I think what's happening is he's trying to bump into him to challenge the header, but Bednarak's already so far above him that it flipped him over, and then Bednarak had a neck injury and had to be subbed off.
Yeah.
Why are we talking about that now and not the 28 times Harry Kane's done it?
Oh yeah, I think we mentioned it before when Harry Kane does it, but yeah, you're absolutely right. Harry Kane does it all the time.
Peter Crouch used to do it as well.
Yeah, it's pretty dirty. I think.
I mean, it can be
intentionally or not. Yeah,
I don't know that his was particularly intentional. To be honest, there was nothing between them. But I mean, sure, if it's it's got to be negative, isn't it? Negativity sells.
Oh, is that what where negging comes from? Negative?
No idea.
Okay. It sounds like it does. And last thing, just before we look at the chat highlights from the show, did you see the Pope getting gifted a Lisandro Martinez jersey framed? The Pope.
His face.
Why?
I don't know why. I have no idea why the Pope got that. I have no idea. And then he was shortly injured after that. I don't know. Who knows? WWE released a new belt. I didn't know that. Let's see. Anything else in chat here? Messi back to Barcelona. That's right. That's true. There are reports of his dog feeling lonely. His dog has arthritis. He could not travel to Paris with him, so he had to stay in Barcelona at his home. And that's the biggest thing here. All right, quickly, let's look at some of the chat highlights of the show. So many clubs in transitional period. You can include Madrid, Barca too. Ancelotti hasn't really committed to his future. That's true. I think I can't remember
That's not
what
really
we were
up to
talking
him,
about.
though. Ancelotti's future isn't up to him.
This happened at 7:23 today, so that happened a whole hour ago. So I can't remember exactly what we were talking about. But Symphony, I thought at the time it was a very, very good comment way I started. Maybe we're talking about,
I think we're talking about managers.
yes, Tottenham probably. Tottenham. Yeah, a lot of clubs, right? Chelsea, we don't know who their manager. Tottenham, I think Xavi will be given time. And I think if Ancelotti wants to stay, he can stay. But it'll be interesting to see. Goodfella mentioning Frimpong is on our wish list from Leverkusen. Earlier, we mentioned him. Goodfella also calling out Milo, saying, Milo, you can't say that about the legend Rio Ferdinand.
I definitely can.
Just saying you don't like him. How dare you? 70 talking about Arsenal's defending. Is it Saliba or the system or the pressure getting on them?
I mean, I think the pressure is part of the job. I mean, I just think it's such a cop out to say, oh, the pressure's getting to. I mean, they know what they're doing. I just think
it's a lot of pressure, though.
Yeah, but is it? I don't. I don't buy that. I don't buy that.
All right.
Personally,
Greg,
if it's too much pressure, then you're in the wrong job.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
That's what I get.
Enough.
That's what I've been told at my work in a high stress situation. If it's too much, leave.
I can't remember what Greg was talking about. Match fixing. They couldn't win the Europa games because they want the FA Cup. Oh, talking about United, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, so they want to rest for the FA Cup or something. Okay, maybe that's what it was. And he says, Goodfellas says, I'm sorry, but I just can't understand all the De Gea hate. He is still #1 shot stopper in the world, in my opinion. Yeah, he's maybe he's the last throwback goalkeeper, maybe? Who knows? Who can't, like, really play it with the ball at his feet.
Yeah,
maybe,
I think
maybe not.
That's the issue, because he doesn't fit the system that he's in. Because goalkeepers need to do, the modern goalkeeper needs to do more than just stop shots.
Right. And Sin Cara clapping back, saying no one would take De Gea. He cannot get into the Spanish squad. That's true. And then Symphony with the level-headed. Not a whole lot of goalkeeper with solid footwork. They're susceptible to mistakes. I think they are. They are.
Even the good ones are. The good footwork ones are.
Yeah. Bro, talking about how Rashford is our best player this season. I can't see why he's getting hate recently. Okay. I mean, we already talked a little bit about why Rashford's getting hate from me. Because, you know, when he first got given the number 10 shirt for United, I was worried. Because that is a sign of where our club is now, right? Giving Rashford the number 10 is a clear indicator that our standards have fallen, right? Call it what you want. English sweetheart, you know, academy product. I get all that. But I don't believe he is good enough to wear the number 10. I just don't think he's that good. Is he good? Yes, he's very good. He's very good. He's like a Nani, you know? He's Nani with more game time. And more injuries. And that is a sign that, you know, United has fallen, you know, and it's fine. You know, we need some marketing thing, you know, to keep people in the stands, you know, some academy product and whatnot. But to me, I think, sure, he had a spell of good form. He's had spells of good form. When he first came on the scene, he had a great spell of good form. But now it's vanished. It's completely vanished. Who knows? Maybe with a more consistent, you know, striker playing next to him or something, you could see better. But he had a good run of form after the World Cup. I'm not gonna lie. He posted a picture of. I'm not making this up. He posted a picture of him and Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton, 8-time world champion Formula One racer, clapping, you know, shaking hands with him as though he. You just get the vibe that Rashford thinks he was on that level, and he was on that level. He was. And everyone was talking about he's playing like a Ballon d'Or. He's doing this. He's better than Mbappe right now. And he was. He was. But that post, to me, was a sign that he has made it. He thinks he's made it. He's there. He has arrived. You know, he can relax now. No. To me, that was a mistake. But yeah, we don't got to get into that. Let's take it easy.
We shouldn't. I mean, Culture's not here, so he won't be able to get upset with you. But
That's right. That's right.
I agree with Culture. I think it's ridiculous. So it's just a picture with Lewis Hamilton. That's it.
Yeah, but if you that was the first post he did non-football or like whatever off. That was the first like social picture he posted in over a year. The last thing he did was promoting a book. Everything else was good game, training, picking up an award. That was everything. England duty. Focus on football. Now all of a sudden, Lewis Hamilton bubbles up out of nowhere. Anyways, yeah. Can we talk about how FFP doesn't apply to English clubs? I'm pretty sure it does.
I mean, we'll know more once the City investigation is done.
Guy says when Man City miss 100 chances versus Madrid, they praise Madrid's mentality, and then I think he said when Barca do it, they call him them or something. Yeah, just a juxtaposition with Barca's criticism. Kim Min Jae to Manchester United, possibly. And the last one here is Bottle Job's we're talking about Kim Min Jae joining United. And for that matter, any other up-and-coming player joining a Big Six team in the Premier League. Casemiro went for his last big payday. Kim Min Jae still has plenty of time at the top level. No need to go to the smallest club in Manchester. Just to show you guys that the people who select these comments are not biased and they're willing to post anti-Manchester United comments on the stream. Unbelievable stuff from the production staff. While we were doing that, I want to see Chelsea recovering. It's a shame for all those signings if they don't. Yeah, I was talking to Walid about this, big Chelsea fan, and they've had some injuries. They just haven't had a proper 9, right? Aubameyang, no bueno. And Broha has been injured. When they went to the Champions League,
Aubameyang was no bueno.
Okay, well, when they went to the Champions League final, they had Giroud on the bench, and they had Timo Werner up front. Timo Werner was a flop, but he still had that work rate to move defenses around, making runs in behind, all that stuff. And so I do think there's something to say that the Bowley signings, I think all but 1 or 2 have been a flop. Clear flop. Like the project, the idea of signing this many players is crazy. I think we can all agree.
Yeah.
But besides that, the quality of the signings, I don't think you can clearly say that these guys are flops and not. Cucurella, you could argue, maybe not up to par. Maybe he's signed as a backup to Chilwell. And Aubameyang, right? Those 2 are the only questionable ones. The rest, unproved. Like you can't really blame Mudryk yet. I can't. The striker Fofana. Oh, that's another injury they had. The Datro Fofana. Is he the winger? The Mudweke. You can't really. I don't know. I just can't judge these guys too hard yet. And Nkuku's coming in the summer as well.
Mudryk.
Yeah, Mudryk. Guy talking about the Rashford situation. Similar situation with Ansu Fati getting the number 10. Yeah, I mean, and to be fair, Ansu, when he got the number 10, had the hype, and he was good enough, but then he got injured, right? He got injured, and then it messed things up. They like to put academy products as the face of the club. Yeah, and I think, you can see that with Saka, Martinelli, right, getting that 11. I don't know. What do you feel like these numbers are being? I'm superstitious, obviously, about it, but I don't like young players, unproven players, getting these big numbers. Saka, for example, I think deserves it. I think because you're really saying, boom, this is you for the future. If you want it for the next 10 years, it's yours, type of thing.
Once you're in the first team, then theoretically you've earned a first team number. So
okay.
I think that's it. That's the bar for me. Yes, certain shirts carry prestige, but then, I don't know. Obviously the 10 shirt at Arsenal is probably my favorite because of Dennis.
Yeah.
Emil Smith-Rowe got it now, which I really like. Emil, I hope he fights his way back into the team. I really do, because I think he's a really good player. William Gallas wore it. That made me angry. I didn't think Gallas deserved to wear the 10 shirt whatsoever. However, it didn't have any bearing on how he played or what we did. So in that respect, I'm not superstitious. You know,
Do you remember the reason Wenger gave? Do you remember the reason he gave?
I remember it being a discussion, but I honestly erased the Gallas season from my mind.
He said no one else could handle the pressure of the number 10 shirt.
Yeah, well, there you go. I mean,
Me and Wenger are like this. I mean, we agree. We agree. It's a high pressure. I don't know. It's just it's a symbol, you know. It's a symbol.
Yeah, it can be.
It can be. It can be.
I think 14 was never a number that any club, 14 was never really a number, right? And then Henri turned it into something.
Yeah.
CO took it on. I liked CO. I thought, I mean, up until the really bad knee injury, he was getting better and better and better, actually. But he never, again, another player that I don't really think came back fully from that injury.
Yeah.
Lost half a yard of pace, and you know what I mean? Still quick, but not as quick. And then, so he didn't really fill those boots. Now Eddie's got it. And for me, so the 14's risen, and then it's, you know what I mean?
Was it before Jordan? Michael Jordan, the 23 wasn't big, right? He kind of made that big.
Yeah.
Interesting how that happened. Who has made a number? Bentner with 52.
There will always be statues outside the stadium with that number carved into the statue. So that, it'll live in immortality there. But I'm not superstitious like that, so I don't really think about it in those terms.
Yeah. It just went. Yeah, I just remember clearly, like when we gave it to Rashford, it was like, oh. This should be like the number 10, right? The number 7. That should be the standard at the club, that type of thing. Like the Saka, I think fits that standard. Martinelli, I think we've talked about it. As a 9, he looks much better as a 9. He can do 11 as well, but Rashford is the 10. That is the standard. Now it has become the standard, and I don't know if that's the standard I want at my club, or type of thing. But he showed a bit of form. It was great, but who knows? Anyways, Yaya Toure with the 42. Yeah, Vieira with the 4, maybe. Who knows? Okay, enough talk. Anything else you guys want to touch on before we get into the quiz? I don't know.
Yeah,
we talked a lot of stuff today. Yeah.
My head is cooked, man. After this, Mondays.
Yeah. All right, let's do the fast fire. What's it called? Fast fire?
Rapid fire.
Rapid fire.
You can call it whatever you want. It doesn't really.
Closing chat. I'm closing chat. There we go.
All right, chat. This is last time Hoff was absent. It finished 5-5 between Cartwheel and Cultured.
It was a good one.
It was a big comeback from Cultured, I think.
It's just sometimes I'm feeling,
yeah,
it's better for the for the show.
For this quiz, I will ask a question. The questions tonight are based on the 2016-17 Premier League season.
Okay.
So a little. Wait, I think that's right. Yeah, it was 16-17. Okay.
Okay, what happened? Okay, I think I know what happened that year. All right.
And each player will have a name that they have to yell out if they know the answer, and then they can tell me the answer. If they get it wrong, it'll go to the other player, and then if they both get it wrong, I'll just move on and tell them the answer. All right.
Okay.
So, Cartwheel, if you know the answer, you have to yell Alan Shearer or Shearer or Alan, whatever you prefer.
Alan.
Half, you get Chris Sutton forming the other half of Blackburn Rovers' infamous Premier League striking duo of what season was that? 93? 2? I forget.
4, 5, 4, 5?
I forget.
5, 6.
But anyway, they were known as the SAS, Shearer and Sutton. Yeah, it was
the famous ABBA song, or Baba. It's like flipping around ABBA. Anyways. Oboe. Right. They have a song called SOS. All right. Anyway,
SOS. Yeah. Okay. So now some of the questions might be tough, but if they are, just take a stab and you get one shot though, obviously. And
okay.
All right.
Alan. All right. Here we go.
Question 1. Harry Skane.
Okay, I was thrown right.
Good start. Good start.
Sorry. Question 1. I told you it's a Monday, man. Harry Kane scored more goals than which club? Like their total goals. He scored more than which club that season?
2017.
1, 2.
I'm gonna have to rush you.
Yeah.
Rapid fire.
Alan.
Go on. I mean, just name the team.
Norwich.
No,
Ooh,
it goes to Chris Sutton.
that's a good guess, Chris. Shoot, I know it. I know they weren't even up, but I can't even think of anyone. I'll say Wigan.
Not Wigan. It was Middlesbrough.
Oh.
I forgot.
Kane scored 29 goals that season, the same number as Sunderland. Middlesbrough scored 27.
All right.
All right,
Middlesbrough's last season. Okay.
Who was the only player to make it to double figures for goals and assists?
16, 17. Chris Sutton?
It wasn't Chris Sutton. No, I'm kidding. Go on.
Was it Harry Kane?
Wasn't Harry Kane.
Okay.
Alan.
Go on.
Riyad Mahrez.
No, the answer was Alexis Sanchez.
Oh.
Oh, Alexis. Ugh. Okay.
I know, right? For Arsenal. Right? I know, right? These questions are harder tonight. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, that's all right.
I didn't
I like
filter
it.
them. It's okay, yeah. That's why I'm giving you more time. Yeah.
Okay.
Who won Manager of the Month in August but was sacked in January? I'll give you a clue. He was manager of Hull City.
Alan.
Go on.
What the hell is his name? Can I get Brown? Phil Brown?
Not Phil Brown.
Mike Brown?
No,
Oh,
goes to Chris Sutton.
what the hell is his name?
Sutton. I was thinking Phil Brown too.
That's his name, right? Phil Brown? Yeah.
Oh, I can't even think. I can see his face. Nigel Adkins?
No.
That's not who I was thinking of.
The answer is Mike Phelan.
Whoa. Okay.
Mike Phelan?
Nope.
Mike
United's Mick Phelan?
Mike Phelan.
Mike? Okay. All right.
Which team won their first 6 matches of the season?
I feel like it's going to be a surprise. Is it kind of surprising?
I'm going to need an answer.
Chris Sutton.
Go on.
Everton?
Nope.
Shit.
And my answer, Alan, my
Go on.
answer is Man City? I don't know. Man City?
It is Man City is correct.
Oh, Jesus. Let's go. We're on the board, baby.
That might be all you need.
Just wait for the obvious. Okay.
Which team lost their last 6 matches of the season?
Lost their last 6.
Alan.
Yeah. Go on.
I feel like you wouldn't do this, but I'm going to guess he might have. Middlesbrough.
No, not Middlesbrough.
Oh, damn.
Sutton.
Go on.
Sunderland?
Incorrect. It's Watford.
Oh, poor Watford.
These are tough, man. I'm sorry.
All right. If you want to give us like multiple choice somehow, maybe? Or would that break it down too much?
Some of them might work. I mean,
Or like a clue, maybe? Or
I've never botched the selection of rapid fire questions before, but I looked at the first question. I was like, oh, this will be fine, and I just went with it.
that's fine. That's fine.
So
No, it's all good. I still like these questions.
which club did not field a player with the number 1 on his back this season?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I'll give you 4 possible answers: West Brom, Arsenal, Watford, or West Ham.
Alan.
Go on.
Arsenal.
Correct.
Whoa. Fabianski.
Petr Cech.
Petr Cech 33.
He won
or something?
33. Yeah, more 33. Yeah. Solomon Rondon scored a hat-trick of headers this season, becoming the first player to do so since whom? The
Oh.
possible answers are Peter Crouch, Alan Shearer.
Alan.
Go on.
Peter Crouch.
Incorrect.
Ah, shit.
Half you might, Chris Sutton. You might want to wait to hear all the answers.
I'll wait.
So, yeah, Solomon Rondon scored a hat-trick of headers this season, becoming the first player to do so since Peter Crouch, Alan Shearer, Duncan Ferguson, or Les Ferdinand.
Ooh.
Oh.
It's one of the last two. I'll say Duncan Ferguson.
That is correct.
Wow.
That is correct. Which club used all three substitutes in every single game?
Oh, jeez.
The options are Chelsea, Man United, Man City, or Sunderland.
Alan.
Go on.
Sunderland.
Incorrect. Another free stab for Chris Sutton.
Man City.
Tied up.
Incorrect. It was Chelsea.
Oh,
It
wow.
says, I don't know who wrote this quiz, but underneath it says a lot of them were to waste time while they were holding a narrow lead.
That's when Conte was there then. Shit.
That was Conte.
Yeah. Burnley won league matches at two stadiums this season. Turf
Oh my
Moor
God.
and was it the Stadium of Light, Anfield, Selhurst Park, or Old Trafford?
Sutton.
Go on.
Old Trafford.
Incorrect.
Other options were Selhurst Park, Anfield, and Stadium of Light.
Selhurst Park, Anfield, Stadium of Light. Yeah.
Alan.
Go on. Wait, it's you anyway.
Obvious choice would be Selhurst Park, so I'm going to go with Selhurst Park.
Selhurst Park it is.
Oh, yes.
Burnley picked up 33 of their 40 points at home, just one win and 3 draws in 19 away games that year. Chelsea set a new record for the most wins in a Premier League season. How many was it? Was it 28, 30, 32, or 34?
Sutton.
Go on.
32.
Incorrect.
Damn. That's a lot.
30 would be 100 and...
I can't tell you how many
90 points.
draws or losses they got because that would give it away.
I'll go with 34.
Incorrect. It was 30.
Yeah, I knew that was too high. Yeah, okay. I knew that was too high. Damn.
Which team scored the most goals and conceded the fewest? Is it Chelsea, Tottenham, City, or Liverpool? Scored the most and conceded the fewest.
Alan. City.
Incorrect. So it goes to Sutton.
Tottenham.
Tottenham is correct.
Did they really?
Yes.
Yeah. They 86 points would have won them the league last season. I don't know when this quiz was. Their goal difference of 60 plus 60 is the highest ever for a club that didn't win the league. Classic. It's so
Wow.
Spursy.
Yep.
Sorry,
Jeez.
it is.
Well, that
is
was
really-
the Leicester season was the season before. So
right. That's right.
yeah, 86 would have walked the fucking league that year.
Which of the 6 English managers employed at the end of the season finished in the top half of the table? Okay. So I'm going to give you 6 English manager names, one of whom finished in the top half of the table.
Top half.
So Sean Dyche, Eddie Howe, Craig Shakespeare, Sam Allardyce, Steve Agnew, or Paul Clement.
Jeez, what a list.
Could you do the list one more time?
Sean Dyche, so Burnley. Eddie Howe, so Bournemouth. Craig Shakespeare, can't remember where he was at. Sam Allardyce, Steve Agnew, Paul Clement.
You want to take the first shot?
Yeah, why not? Sutton.
Go on.
You said top half, right?
Yep.
Okay. Eddie Howe.
Eddie Howe is correct.
Yep.
That ties the game at 3-3. So
There we go.
Last question. Okay. Last question. And it's one close to my heart. Arsenal failed to finish in the top 4 for the first time since the 95-96 season.
Wow.
Which is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Which team did finish 4th that year? Was it Villa, Newcastle, Nottingham Forest, or Wimbledon?
Oh, in 94 and 95? You're saying?
Nope.
Who?
No.
No.
In 16-17,
Oh.
all the questions are about 2016-17.
Okay.
It was the first time since 95 that Arsenal didn't finish in the top 4.
Right. So, and who finished in 2016 in 4th?
Yes.
Could you repeat the thing again?
No.
You can't repeat it?
No, this is a tiebreaker.
Okay, Alan.
Go on.
Well, no, hold on. We should both say our answer at the same time.
You said your name.
Wait, no. Can I hear the question again?
Okay.
Or I mean the multiple choice again.
Okay.
I just want to hear the multiple choice.
So basically, who finished? I'll make this easy.
You
Who
said
finished
Wimbledon,
4th?
Nottingham Forest, Newcastle, and Villa, right?
Yeah.
Alan?
Alan.
I will say Villa.
Okay. And what will you say, Chris Sutton?
I'll take Newcastle.
So it's Villa v Newcastle. The answer is Aston Villa.
Oh, Jean Carew. Maybe John Carew? No,
Nah, he was
too
long
early.
behind
Agbong Lahore.
No idea.
Who's the number 8 at the time? Barry was in there, maybe. He was
Lee
an 8, though.
Hendry?
Lee Hendry.
I've no idea.
Shay Given or Brad
Steven
Friedel?
Defoe.
I'm just rattling off names now. I don't know.
I was
Ashley
gonna
Young
say
was.
Villa. You stole him.
Oh man, Jesus, that was good.
That was that was tough. I apologize for not filtering the rapid fire because normally I'm on point with those. That one was
Okay.
way too difficult to be rapid fire.
Oh,
In fact, that was more like turtle fire.
turtle. Flint or spark. I don't know. Guys, any Milo? Anything coming up this week? You're doing Terminator series.
Well, yeah. I like to play through story mode games, and I do need to finish that one because I want to make room for The Last of Us.
What if you did a WWE night? Do you think it would?
Why are you outing me about my secret WWE playing?
Because I think about it because I don't think it's that much of a guilty pleasure.
It's a guilty pleasure, dude.
No, I don't think it should be. I think it's neat. I think it's like it's everyone probably watched wrestling growing up. Everybody. Like,
Yeah.
wow, did you watch wrestling growing up?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I watched wrestling growing up. I think
WCW.
everybody
Yep.
I think everybody and I remember I specifically think about you saying that it's a guilty pleasure, and like
It is.
to me, I don't think it should be. I don't know.
I should clarify. The game is a guilty pleasure. I certainly don't watch it anymore. When I did watch it, I did enjoy it.
Okay.
I did
No.
enjoy it. But I have a universe mode going that's got all the like classic wrestlers from back in the day. NL, there's nothing wrong with it. Like Cart said, there's nothing wrong with it. However,
I think
for me, it's a guilty pleasure. I don't know. It is.
you just like to do it on the kind of like chill time type of
on
thing.
the low down. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I will. Maybe I'll make
why
it
not?
redeemable on my channel. You know?
Could you like set up custom matches? Like be like, I want to see The Rock versus Stone Cold in a Hell in the Cell match.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's
I have a universe mode going. So like in my universe, the Dudleys who aren't in the game, but I've put them in.
oh, the Dudleys.
So they're the champions, and then you know I've got a power ranking, so it's got like you got the Dudleys with the belts right now, and then you've got like Edge and Christian and the Hardy
Yeah.
Boys competing for it, and yeah, you know.
I don't know. I think it would. I think it would be neat. You know. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's up to you. It's up to you. It's up to you. Obviously, but to me, I was like,
know.
wait. It's like this could be like a. You know, you could get a cult following for this type of thing. You know. I think.
Do you know what? I actually I do follow a couple of streamers of that game.
Okay. Yeah. I
And
haven't really checked
they-
the directory.
They have most of them have made like their own brand because you can completely make custom arenas and rings and everything.
Nice.
So
Right.
they have their own brand. Like one guy, it's PEW, Professional Elite Wrestling or something, right? And
Oh,
he
cool,
has
cool.
he has a whole
Graphics.
universe that he doesn't even play it. He does AI versus AI.
Oh,
He
cool.
just sets the matches and they place bets in the chat on who's going to win.
Oh, that's
Uh,
kind of neat. He
It is
commentates
kinda
maybe,
neat.
or
He commentates, yeah, and they have
Okay.
they have all made up superstars, like all made up. So it's
Okay.
kind of neat. That is kind of cool, but like you got to be
Sean
really
Dyke.
committed. You got to be
Yeah.
really committed to go that far.
that's true.
I could
That's true.
create Ten Hag and beat the shit out of him though.
Whoa.
I was thinking of like a celebrity death match type thing you could do with it.
I could easily do that. Yeah, yeah.
Harry Maguire, throw Harry in there. The slab head.
Slab
The
head.
slab.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it does seem like a lot of upkeep, though, right? A lot of different moving parts.
That would be, yeah. I mean, that's all he does, right? I definitely, my focus is more for something I really put my energy into is probably this and racing.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
Cool. Yeah. Well, nice show, guys. Thanks for joining. Thanks,
Thank you,
chat,
man.
for all the input. We'll be back next Monday. Do we have a little
Oh, yeah.
dad joke? Huff, do you have any dad joke by any chance? I don't know.
I've got a book of dad jokes right here.
Oh my god.
My wife got it for me.
Here, throw one out and then Milo do his.
I've got
Oh my
one
God.
ready to go. It's
I'm
a
just
beaut.
gonna randomly. I hope it's not the same one. I'm just gonna randomly open to.
That would be amazing. All right, here we go.
How many apples grow on a tree?
Don't know.
All of them.
Oh my. I'm lost.
That's a riddle.
I'm lost.
That's not a joke.
Yeah, I'm like having an
yeah.
existential crisis right now. That's done me.
Okay, I like it. Here's mine. What do you do if you drop a jar of pickles? Deal with it.
Ooh, nice.
Yes. Yes.
Nice.
There
All
you
right,
go.
guys. I will see you guys later. Thank you, chat.
Yes, sir. Thanks, man.